Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Play Eador Masters of the Broken World, a fantasy RPG turn-based strategy game. I make this recording in English. I already started a German one, but I will stop that because the game is in English, and so I'll make an English Let's Play. Furthermore, there are two rules: no loading, no saving, to make it more interesting, and of course we play it in the highest possible difficulty level. I will try to give you all the details in the game, within the game when we're playing it. So each episode I will tell you something about a special unit, or a spell, a ritual, a building, a terrain type, a monster type, all that, so that you will learn time by time and season by season and shard by shard what is there to know about this game. And hopefully I can do something to improve your gameplay, or if you're not playing it already, make you play the game, because it's really outstanding. As the chief says, I have already something prepared, and we'll go right through the tutorial, meaning we will pass the tutorial by and start with campaign now. And here we are. This is the campaign map. Location: in space, or better to say the astral void as they call it. Time: more or less Middle Ages. It's a little bit fantasy, but you have crossbows, sword shields, all that kind of stuff. Knights, so expect no computers and anything in your country. It's barely more sawmills and millers and all that kind of stuff. We have our island floating in the middle. We can go up and down, left and right. And we have some other islands, they're called shards, flying around in space as well. We are a god, or at least a higher being. We're no overpowered. Well, you can say we have some special powers, but actually we're not all-knowing, all-powerful, or, well, able to do anything in this regard. We're more like a half-god, if you ask me. There are others like us. Some are good, some are bad. Some are, well, not interested in us at all. And there comes the first part. There is something here that is called karma. You can have good karma, you can have bad karma, and you get karma through to your actions on the shards and on the main map. There will be special things that happen, and then we can decide what we do, good or bad. It is not necessarily good to have good karma. It only makes certain gods or demigods react on you and creates sometimes special events. Same goes for bad karma, which means that even if you have bad karma, good things can happen to you from your point of view. As well as, if you're good on karma, you should not try to have too many skeletons or evil creatures, because they will not like you when you have them in your army. Other way around, if you are a good guy, well, then the Brotherhood of Light will give you the best soldiers, or they will have the highest moral when fighting under you, better to say. So this shard's floating around here can be attacked by us, one each turn, and if we're able to conquer it, then the shard will be connected to ours and our grow bigger. We can also attack shards of other gods if they're nearby, and if we conquer the shard, the god is destroyed. Same goes sadly for us. That brings us to energy, astral energy in the down left corner. We can use this energy to give ourselves buffs when we conquer an island or when we defend ourselves. More to that later. We have a gremlin who is talking a lot. If you want to hear all about the dialogue with the gremlin, just ask, and I will make a special episode with all the talking to the gremlin, but it's really a lot. This guy likes to talk even more than I do, and he's not making YouTube videos. Statistics screen tells you how much energy you will get each turn. At the moment that is 10, and we have one shard. For example, if we're attacking one shard like this and we conquer it, we'll get one more energy each turn. Besides that, when you conquer a shard, you will get certain buildings. The buildings are your tech tree. You cannot build all the buildings just from the start. You have to conquer the shards that contain the blueprints for them. So the more shards you get, the more buildings you get. A shard is named. A shard has a terrain, which is quite important, because there are terrains that, well, need a certain way of fighting. For example, if you're fighting on a desert terrain, you might think of using undead because they do not know exhaustion. Or if you're fighting on a dead world, you might think of using dead people yourself, because all others will get a minus on their moral, and there will be no food and no money to supply normal troops. If you're fighting, for example, on hills, using ranged fighters would be a good idea because they like hills. So you have to adapt, and that is one of the very important parts of this game. You will have many games, and they will all differ because you have to adapt to the chart you're on. Each chart has a size which primarily indicates the size of the map that you will be fighting on. So this will be a tiny map. They all have different buildings. I will talk a lot about the buildings later. They all have special abilities and give you things, but they also come in different levels, so you cannot buy them right from the start, but more to that, as I said, later. And each chart will give you benefits for the upcoming fight. So, for example, if we conquer Balor, we will be able to recruit a militiaman and 50 extra gold for each attack after this one. As soon as we have the island, we have the opportunity to activate those two when we attack an island. Problem is, both will cost us energy. So, beware that this is not very cheap. You can't do that in every fight. I, for my part, will attack this island. Why? Because seas is okay, I have no problem with water. The fort is, in my eyes, one of the most important buildings to start with because it allows you to get second rank units. There are 4 ranks for units and 4 ranks for buildings, and in the first fights the enemies can only deploy first level units. But with this building you will be able to deploy second level units, which will give you quite an edge in battle. The Thieves Guild, as you can see, there is an unhappiness icon, the face that is well, not looking very happy. That means if you build that, the people in your province, your main province, will get unhappy. It lowers the enemy's income, hooray, and it allows you to hiring thieves as a guard, more to that later. It also changes your karma to negative. In comparison, the infirmary will change your karma to positive. The other building I want besides the fort is the market. The market gives us bonus income. Now you save plus 5 gold. Is that much? You will see that that is a lot. And it allows us to to build storehouses. Storehouses, on one hand, give you bonus income, hooray! And they will allow you to repair items. And if you ever have tried to fight with a broken sword or broken armor, you will love this building, trust me. The benefits from this island that we get for the next fights are not that good. Gem reserve plus 3 and 10% cheaper resources in redwood, that's not very impressive, but we need the 2 buildings. So, I attack. And of course, highest possible difficulty level. Hooray! And here we are. A quick look at our chart will tell you the name. The province will tell you the name of the province. It will tell you the population. There can be elves, dwarves, humans, orcs, goblins, lizardmen, a lot of them. Some like you, some don't. Depends on your karma. You have a terrain, which is very important because that will be the terrain you will be fighting on if you have any fights in this province. If you attack a province, always look for the terrain. It will tell you a lot. Hills are good if you have ranged fighters. Hills are not very good if you have mounted units because they will be slowed down. Each province has a population counter. The more population counters, the more people live there, the more income you will get. As well as a mood, well, unrest. You can see if that guy is happy, if the province is getting happier and happier and happier, you can do that by building, spells or special events, then you will get more money and the province will be more stable. If the people get unhappy, they will repel and try to force you away, and even fight your guards if necessary, if you have some there. There is an exploration counter, which means the more explored a province is, the more people can settle, the more money the province will give you. Only heroes can explore provinces. You will have an income in gold and an income in gems. There will be shards where the income is very, very low. There will be shards where the gem income will be very, very low. And there will be shards where both is overflowing. You will have to adapt. When you look at other provinces, you see that they're not as plenty in gold and gems as our main province is. But, well, that's the reason it's the main province. but you can get those very, very productive too. You can only build major buildings in your home province. And that will influence the buildings that you can build in your provinces around you. One thing you should be aware of right from the start is the easiest fights are in your main province. As far further you get out, the harder the fights will get. So for example, if you're fighting a free settlement that is closely attached to your home province, there will only be a few guards and they will not be high quality. If you go to the second layer, meaning the second province after that, here for example, there will be far better guards and far more of them. In each province there are certain dungeons, locations that you can visit. Same goes here. Home province, relatively easy targets. The further you get away from the home province, the more dangerous the dungeons and special locations will get. First thing you always do is you buy a hero. You have the choice between 4 different of them. The warrior, which is the main starting hero for most because he's very cost effective and he can turn into a fighting machine relatively quickly. The scout, who is a very cheap ranged fighter and is very hard to get your hands on good ranged fighters right from the start, and he's also quite cheap to maintain. The commander, he will have 1 more troop. Those 3, the warrior, the scout and the wizard, have 3 slots for troops. He has 4, so he has 1 more troop to start with. And he can boost those troops. Only problem is, he himself is not a very good fighter. He's just a commander. And you will need a lot of money to support his army, if you want to do it right. So, better use him on a world that has a lot of income, and not on very poor worlds. The wizard only works if you have a lot of gems, because there is no mana here, there's just gems. The more gems you use for spell casting, well, you will need them. You know what I mean? With +4 you cannot cast a lot of spells. So if you're on a world that has very little gold income but a lot of gem income, the wizard is your man to go. Also, this guy can summon demons and undead who do not use money but crystals for upkeep or gems for upkeep. So again, on a poor world, this might be your choice to keep your troops supplied and to keep your army active. We'll be going for a warrior to start with. And here we see the stats. Life points, of course. You heal over time, or you heal with a healing spell or a healer unit. If that drops to 0, your unit is dead. There is no resurrection on the normal way. There is 1 spell, but that is far, far away. Stamina. Each action, attacking, moving, or shooting, costs you stamina. The more complex the action, the more stamina it costs you. If the stamina goes down, your fighting power goes down. If your stamina reaches 0 stamina, your unit will do nothing on the battlefield until it is rested. Morale, if it goes to 0, the unit will flee. If it goes above 15, the unit will get bonus attack points. That brings us to speed. Well, you can move 2 squares, you do 6 damage, you counter attack for 4. No range, no close combat defense, no ranged defense, a little magic resistance. No ranged attack, no range because he has no ranged weapon, and no ammunition. Well, what for? He has a siege ability, which means he can take down fortifications with a score of 7. The higher the better, of course. Initiative 0, that means everyone who has got 1 will go before him. Mobility, he can move through 2 provinces if per turn maximum. Command, no extra command slots. Health, 5 health points more than the rest, and he has no bonus spells. These are the items he can equip, and he can learn skills from the warrior tree up to level 3. He costs 100 gold and 10 gems upkeep, and if we buy him, the cost for the rest will go up dramatically. You can buy 2 warriors, but look at the price. It's much more wise to buy one of the other 3 types for the next hero. There is no limitation how many heroes you can have, except for what you can pay for. The hero himself, as you can see, has a skill to start with, and he can learn others as soon as he levels up. He can carry items. You can put them in your storage if you want, or you can put them in your stash at home. And he has units with him. A militiaman, and if you compare his stats to the stats of the militiaman, he's better. Not by far, but, well, he is. And he has a slinger, which is a ranged unit that throws stones. More to that later. He has 3 slots free for spells, as you can see here, but at the moment we have no spell building, so we cannot teach him any spells. He can explore the province, meaning he try to find out more about the province. He can find locations, special events, or even percent here, so that this goes up to 100 and the province receives a bonus income. He can visit one of the locations already known. Do not attack a Titan fortress, trust me. There's a reason that it's called Titan fortress and not Fleabite fortress. Goblins and undead both are not to be underestimated in the highest difficulty level right at the start. We can plunder our province. That will give us money, but that will make the province poorer and unhappy, so you should not do that unless it's really, really, really going down and you need the money desperately. We can buy items at the store if we had a store, and we can recruit items or soldiers if we had a recruiting station. That brings us to buildings. There are a lot of buildings. The buildings alone, talking about the buildings alone, will take several videos, but we'll come to each and every one of them. First thing you should know, if you're playing a warrior, the first thing you buy is a forge. Why? Because a forge will enable you to buy your first piece of armor. Ta-da! It's not perfect, but it's good enough, and it's not that costly. And you will need the forge to build other fighting units. For example, the crossbowman wants a forge and a workshop, and then you can build the crossbowman. So, this is for starters. Next turn I will tell you more about, or next video I will tell you more about the units that are available, and perhaps we even get ourselves into a fight. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, if you want to do co-moderation, if you want to talk to me, just let me know and I'll do whatever I can to please you. See you then. Bye.